Okay, this video is going to take us through the 7-step easy method for solving a Rubik's Cube. So let's get to it. You'll see that the first instruction on there says build the white cross. So before we build that white cross, we need to make sure that you understand that when you spin this Rubik's Cube, these middle central parts don't move independently of the other ones. So if I spin this around, it's still here. If I spin this around, it's still here. If I spin this around, the blue stays relative to the white. All these central parts stay where they are relative to each other. Anyway, let's look at building this white cross. So what I like to do is keep this white on top and look for pieces that are going to end up on top to make this cross. Now when we're making this cross, we need to make sure that these parts are in the right place. So I'm going to actually move this to the bottom. I'm going to spin it round until it reaches the green, because this is green and that's green. So when I now turn this to the top, this white is aligned nicely and the green is aligned nicely. So we're going to do that for all of them. If you look over here, this has already been done, as if by magic it's happened already. So we have the white up here and the orange up here nicely aligned. So we'll look for another one. So I spin the cube, we should see there's a red here. So there's white underneath, red here. So it's already on the bottom of the cube. So I'll keep spinning the cube until it matches up with the red, which is here. So when I turn it now, we have red here and white on top. So we have one more piece, which is the blue piece, and at the moment this blue piece is not quite how we want it to be in terms of being in that bottom layer. So if I turn this, it's not facing the right way. So in order to do that, I mean, you could put it underneath first. I can put it here. So now if I rotate this, it will end up on the bottom. Some of you may have noticed that by moving this blue to the bottom, I've now taken this red out of place. So what I can do, I can put the blue where I want it to be underneath, and then I can move the red one back so that it's ready and waiting. Now this blue is underneath, nicely aligned, and I can spin that to the top. So I now have a white cross. There are some extra pieces here, you can ignore those for now. If you want to rewind that and try that a few times, then you can do. But we're ready for the next stage. The next stage says fill in the corners. So if you look, we want the whole of this section to be white. Now this is white, but it's not the correct piece, because we want this to be green here to match our green, and we want this to be red here to match our red. So this is not in the correct place. And if we look at this one, this is also in the wrong place. We want this to be blue and we want this to be orange. So the easiest way is to find pieces that are at the bottom and then move them up into the correct place. And then sometimes you'll need to spin them around as well, which is why there's a formula in that number 2 instruction there. So let's move this to a blue and orange part of the cube. So here we have blue on this side, we have orange on this side. So we know we want this piece to be up here, and once it's here we need it to be turned around. So there are lots of ways of doing this. So like I said, this is the easy method. So it might come across as a long-winded way, but it means you have less to think about if you learn it this way. Once you get into cubing, you'll find that there are lots of ways to do things. So what we're going to do, what I like to do, is to move it out the way. So this way, move it down, bring it across and bring it up. So once we're here, we can do a trick, which is RID, RDI, and we keep doing that until this piece is moved in the right place. Now if I actually put this piece back and put it to where it was, some of you may have noticed that if I decided to move it out the way this side, it would have saved me a lot of bother, because now the piece is already in the right place. So if that makes sense to you, then you can do that, but for now I'm going to put it back the other way, just for the sake of us using the same method every time, so there's less to think about, like I said. So we're going to move it out the way, and then we're going to move it down to meet the rest of its colors and bring it up. So it's in the correct place, but it's not been flipped. So to do the flip, we have RI, which is this way, D, R, DI. then we'll do it again. R-I, D, R, D-I. So it's moved slightly, but it still hasn't gone exactly where we want it to go. So we just carry on. R-I, D, R, D-I, R-I, D, R, D-I. And now it's in the correct place. So we just need to do that with all the other parts. So below where we are now, we have a blue and a red. So we'll turn that until it ends up being with the blue and the red, which is here. Same thing again, so we're going to move it out of the way, move this down to meet it, bring it up. You can see it's in the correct place with blue and red, but it needs flipping. So we do that same trick again. R-I, D, R, D-I, R-I, D, R, D-I. And we see that this is in the right place. So let's just do that for the rest of them. Here's one here, red and green. So you move it underneath where we want it to be, which is here. I'm going to move it out the way. I'm going to bring it down, let it meet, bring it back up. This one has already been flipped, which is good, so we don't have to do the trick. Then we are left with the green and orange, so let's move that around till it ends up in the right place. Same trick again, so move it out the way, move it down, bring it across, bring it up. It's in the correct place, but it needs the trick. So once again, R-I, D, R, D-I, R-I, D, R, D-I, keep going, R-I, D, R, D-I, R-I, D, R, D-I. Now this last D-I move I did here, that will come in handy later. So even though nothing's really happening for what we are trying to solve, if you get into the habit of doing this D-I, it's going to help you out a lot later. Actually, for the last step, for the step 7, it's going to help you for step 7. So the instruction now says, then turn the cube upside down. So turn it upside down. You have yellow on the top. So what we want to do now, we have these T shapes. Actually, let's turn it back up. You have a T shape, T shape, T shape, because we've managed to align all these edges in the right place. So it is possible to make this side white without these being in the correct place, but we've actually done them in the correct place. So turn it upside down again, and we're going to drop in all these gaps that are missing. So what we're going to do, if we look here, I've just moved this around to meet the orange. Now, the reason I've done that is because the move we're going to do now is going to bring this piece down to fill up this gap. So I'll do that again. It's going to bring it into here without messing up the bottom row. So if you look on the instructions, you'll notice that it says think away. Now the reason why I said think away is because even though we're going down here, the first move we're going to do is going to move it away from where we're going. So if you look in step 3, you'll see that there are 2 lines. It says or, you have a choice at this point. So it does require a little bit of thinking, nothing major. So we're going away from it. So by going away, I am doing a U, which is clockwise, a U-turn here. If I was going, let's find one that has it for you. What does this do? Ah, this one. So if we are here and we want to drop this down into here, my first move would be to go away from where I'm going. This is actually called a UI, it's the inverse. That I is the opposite, the inverse of the move that we're trying to do. So UI, so then I would use the second instruction in that step 3. But let's go back to where we were before, and we're going to try and drop this into here. So the instruction says U, R, UI, RI. Then it says UI, FI, U, F. And that drops the cube into the slot that we wanted. So we're just going to keep doing that for the rest of the pieces. So I can see one here, this green and orange wants to come down here without messing up all of these. So again, if we're moving that away, this is actually a U move. So it's U, R, U, R, R, I, then it's U, I, F, I, U, F. And that has brought that down into that slot that we had before. So if I look at this one now, this red and blue is going to swing down here without messing these up. So this is the other one this time. So if we move away, this is actually UI, U inverse. So the move is going to be U, I, F, I, U, F. Then it's going to be U, R, U, I, R, I. Brings it down. And there's one more piece we need to do. Okay, so in this instance, this piece is already where we want it to be, but it's not flipped the right way. So what we have to do, we have to bring another piece down, which will chuck this out over here or over here somewhere. I can't remember which one it's going to be. Then once it's up there, we can bring it back in. So I'm going to use the top option of step 3, which starts with the U. So I'm going to say U, R, U, I, R, I, U, I, F, I, U, F. And what we'll find is that this piece is now on the top. I've got to pay attention to where it went to. It went over here. Anyway, that doesn't matter. So we are going to drop this down like that using our away move, which is a U. So it's going to be U, R, U, I, R, I, U, I, F, I, U, F. And you can see that that slot has now been filled in all the way around the cube. So the next step, step 4, is going to be build the yellow cross. So if you look at those letters in the instructions, it says F, R, U, R, U, F, or R, I, U, I, F, I. I remember when learning this, the instructions told me to say the word through roof, through the roof, you could say, because it's the top, the roof is the top, if you want to think of it like that. Anyway, I have a cross here, so I'm going to have this cross going across. I could have it facing downwards like this, but I'm going to do it across. There are 3 different ways that this top bit could be, and you do the same move every time. You just keep doing it until it gives you a cross. So I know that when you have a line here, I think it means you can only need to do it once. So we're going to go F, R, U, R, U, F, or R, I, U, I, F, I. And that's going to bring us the cross. So that's it really, but sometimes other things crop up, so you just have to do it again. Let's do it now just to see what happens. So F, R, U, R, U, F. Okay, so this, sometimes you might have this, what I like to call a backwards L shape. So you may land like this and think of it as an R shape, but if you move it to a backwards L, then that might mean you have 2 times. So let's try and see what happens. So F, R, U, R, U, F. That brings us to our line, which we had before, so that means you've got one more time to go. So F, R, U, R, U, F. And that brings us across. Now we do have some other parts in here, but they're not aligned, so just think of this as a cross, even though there are more bits showing. Okay, so on to step 5. Step 5 says match the cross edges. So we want to make sure that if I move this red here, we want this to be in the right place, but this is orange and green, it's wrong. Blue and orange is wrong, green and blue is wrong. So we want to match those all up. Now this is the only one move that is sometimes a bit tricky. And basically what you need to do is think of green, orange and blue, G.O.B, G.O.B, green, orange, blue. If you find that you have, if you look at the cube, you have green, orange, blue. You want green, orange, blue to be creating a T shape, because whatever's close to you here, it will not move. So I've been lucky again in this particular formation of the cube, because if I do this next move once, it's going to move green over here, which is green. It's going to move orange over here, and it's going to move blue over here. So green, orange, blue. So I've been lucky, but sometimes you'll find that they're a few steps away and you have to be a bit more clever about how this works, and you need to do it a few more times, remembering that this stays where it is. So I'm going to do this move now, which is R, U, R, I, U, R, U, U, R, I. And you'll see that green has come across, orange has gone round, and blue has come round. So these edges are now all aligned. So I might do this again so you can see the pickles that could occur. I'm just going to keep going. I think I may have to make another video that shows you some other problems that occur. So the next move we want to do is to move the corners into the right place. So usually what happens, if you're lucky, you'll have one corner that's in the right place. So this particular piece cube, sorry, this is in the right place, but it's not flipped the right way, but we're going to keep this where it is for now. We can do the flipping for step 7. So if we look around, when we do this move, this corner becomes like a magic corner. Nothing moves from here, but the rest of them will go in a clockwise. So this will go from here, this will go from here, this will go from here, in a clockwise motion. So if we look at the colors we have, here we want to have green and red, which is over here. So that's got 1, 2. So I'm going to need to do this move 2 times to get all the corners in the right place. So the move is U, R, U, I, L, I, U, R, I, U, I, L. So that's once. You can see that this red and green still has 1 jump to make. This is 1 jump to make. So we'll do the same move again, keeping this magic corner where it is. So the instructions are U, R, U, I, L, I, U, R, I, U, I, L. And now we have all the corners in the right place. And again, this is a lucky formation of the cube where 2 of these have already been flipped in the right place. So all we're going to do now is go to step 7 and flip this corner and that corner into the right place. So it says R, I, D, R, D, I, R, I, D, R, D, I. Just keep doing it. R, I, D, R, D, I, R, I, D, R, D, I. This is in the right place. Now the cube looks a bit strange here, and this is what used to lose me at first. Keep this where it is, this magic corner. Rotate the top, and now we're going to flip this, and amazingly it just seems to work. So R, I, D, R, D, I, R, I, D, R, D, I, and there you have it, the cube is done. Now this was a particularly fortunate arrangement of the cube, so I may make another one which will probably show us a few more problems that we need to do to sort out the top with our special move, which is R, U, R, I, U, R, U, U, R, I. Maybe I should just do it now. Let's do it now. So green, orange, blue. Again, this is already in order, so that's not much of a challenge. So if I move this and mess it up, that might work. R, U, R, I, U, R, U, U, R, I. So let's have a look at this. So we're looking for our green, orange, blue. Green, orange, blue. It's still there. It's still the same. R, U, R, U, R, U, R, I. Here we go. Right. So if you look here, green, orange, red. We want it to be green, orange, blue. So if you find yourself in the middle of a cube and you have this situation, you need to make sure you've got green, orange, blue. So I would hold this orange in here to keep it still, and then this will jump across. So at least we'll have the orange, blue. So let's try that. R, U, R, U, R, U, U, R, I. And now we have an orange, blue situation. Yes, so now we have our red. So now we have our green, orange, blue. If I put this red in the proper place. Oh, there you go. So now it's all in the right place. So that's just something to be aware of when you are doing step 5. Anyway, hopefully that made sense. I might just finish this off. And then bring this back. Yeah, so hopefully that made sense to you. Let me know what you think below, and good luck with cubing. See ya.